Hi Rich. Today we'll just go over the practice exercise for doing the ronde, or the ronde de jambe is what it's called in ballet. De jambe meaning the leg, around with the leg. In ballroom a lot of times we'll just call it a ronde. And we also use this quite a bit in Argentine tango. When the lady is going around the man can do this ronde action as an embellishment, and the lady as well. Before we do that, just one note on your fallaway, which was going really pretty well. And I think if you practice it after the feather step, you'll have really good luck moving through it because you get a bit of a flow in the movement. So just make sure that as you move from going forward to moving backward, that you carry that head weight with you. There was a tendency sometimes on step 3 for you to fold a little bit right here and to put the head weight in front of you instead of continuing to lengthen your spine up and back. So think of your head going up to the ceiling and back. That may be part of the other problem where you were buckling into your left leg. So on step 3 of the fallaway, make sure that the leg is fairly braced. Don't sit down in it. The place where you're going to have a softening action of the leg is after you dance the pivot itself. You'll soften the supporting knee before you move out. So just be careful of that, folding forward, breaking down into that leg. So keep the spine moving, keep the head moving with the movement. So we used your mantle on the fireplace there in your studio room. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to turn on the carpet. But before you start trying to turn while you're doing the ronde, you want to practice it just holding on to something lightly, not leaning on it. If we're working on the double natural, then the ronde will take place with your right leg. I would practice it on both sides. You can use it on the double reverse spin, and later on in your dancing we'll do the overspin. And there are other places where we can do ronde actions. The ronde de jambe could be from the front to the back, and the back to the front. It can go in both directions. So as practice exercise, maybe do both. Now in ballet, it's done with the legs turned out, and can be done with the legs straight or with one leg bent. It can also be done in the air. But we keep our legs in parallel position in ballroom. So if I just hold on to something lightly, you may flex the knee if you want when you do the double reverse spin or the natural spin. Your leg would be straighter. So when you do the turn, then you also need to lift your heel off the floor. But just start by pointing front and to the side, and then in the back. Now when you go into the back, usually what we'll do there in ballroom is soften the knee. So at that point, I'm getting a very artistic movement because you can see that the ankle is softening also. So I'm going around using the inside of the big toe. Right now I'm doing a low ronde, or I can then stand up straighter in the leg. So you don't need to worry about having a straight leg in back of you for the one we're doing. You want to keep the hamstrings underneath the body. So try to do that without breaking. Now if I reverse that, take it back and bring it to the front. You may want to just go both ways, so that eventually we'll have the choice when we want to use it as an embellishment. So to keep it even, then I'll do it on the other side. So you're making a clock. And so I'm going to 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. And you can try it at various levels. Now when you start turning, what I recommended there is you just do a quarter of a turn. So maybe if you started facing the mantle, you could just turn a quarter here. Or you could start here, dance a quarter of the turn, change hands, and dance another quarter turn. Then I can go the other way, quarter of the turn, and I'm almost doing a half. But as you get used to doing it, you can do your half turn when you do it. Now when you turn, then you will have to lift the heel off the floor at least enough that you could slip a piece of paper underneath there. You don't have to be really high, but you will need to keep the weight off of your heel. So I'm feeling the impetus where the rhythm is between my position in the front and my second. That's where you're putting the emphasis of the movement or the rhythm. When you do that, the weight of the leg will actually help you turn. As you'll start to feel right there as I sort of whip my leg around, that's going to give me the impetus. When you're practicing it alone, or if you have a partner, you'll also be using, I was saying the right elbow, but it's actually the entire body, but I'm aware of my widest points, elbow to elbow, but that is helping me to turn. Likewise on the other side, I'll feel the whipping of the leg there, and I'll feel the arm going with the leg. In the case here with my partner, you'd feel both arms going along with the leg. If you don't use the upper body too, sometimes we see people having this problem with their balance. I'll just do that from the other direction so you can see going front, side, and back. Now the part that you were losing when you're practicing at home, and I've seen this most of the time when people are learning, many of the things that we do disappear in the movement, or they become sometimes harder to feel the completion of the movement. So when you're standing still, you may feel the complete ronde on the clock. But many times when we start to turn, I'll do it this way. We pull the leg in the front, and we don't keep the back part going. Now, because as my leg is in a circle, my body comes around to face my leg. So as my leg is going to the back, my body's turning. So you don't even see it. You don't see the movement in the back, but I'm still trying to keep from my hip joint this round sensation there. So I'm going forward. As I go to the side, I give myself the impetus. And as the legs come together, you see that becomes very, very small, but it's still there. I'll see if I can do an awkward one. If I go there and then I just close it in, I haven't quite completed the movement. So feel at least the foot and the big toe looking behind you. And then coming out. If you're doing your double natural, that leg will never really stop moving. You'll be going around, settling and continuing. Here I'm using my CVM to step outside of the lady. Now when you do that, that's an embellishment that you do for yourself. The lady can't do that because she's dancing a heel turn and then she's dancing 2 forward steps. So this would be a man's embellishment. But in Argentine Tango, both partners will use this movement. Okay, so I'll catch you on Zoom again next week. I have the camera down now lower where you can see the feet. Let's spool these guys up. Maybe it's good sometimes I show you in my bare feet because you can see inside the shoe how much articulation there should be going on. So when the foot goes forward, you would use the ankle, stretch and lengthen through the foot around, and then as you're softening it, I'm bringing my ankle in first and then bringing the toe through. So you definitely don't want anything like that, and you don't want the foot to be just flat like that. You want to use a little bit of the edge of the foot. There. Same thing on the other side. I'm using the edge of the big toe there and coming in. So doing both directions. So then when I'm turning, I'm going to go up. Now what I'm not doing is I'm not doing the extreme pointing that we would use in ballet. Of course the legs would be turned down and we would really, really stretch the foot. And a lot of times in the Latin dances we'll use these embellishments too. We'll have a much more articulated foot because you can see that the action in the legs is different in ballroom. When we're bringing the legs together, we're usually going to have them at the same length. We're not going to have this shape in here, and so this extreme arch that we would be showing in the Latin dance. But we definitely do want some articulation through the feet and the ankles.